Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington.
First of all, thank you all for being here as well. My name is Rachel Adult Program Kathryn Kauffman. Miss Kathryn Kauffman, all the way from Lexington, joining us here tonight.
My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we try to discover what and who we are in this journey called life. So it's Monday night, everybody. Welcome. Special shout out to Betsy Conklin and a good shout out to Joy Hall over here on Instagram. Good to see you guys. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how we're doing here on a Monday night, everybody. Happy Monday night. So, hey, Betsy. Good to see you. Glad that you're joining me here. If you want to hang out, and I'm getting going here on Facebook. And tonight's episode is, what is a hungry ghost? And have you ever had a problem with a hungry ghost? Some people have had hungry ghosts, but they don't realize that that's what it is. And so let me show you what the video clip art is going to look like. So when the video comes out on Facebook, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Sorry for all you guys over here on Instagram. You won't be able to see this until you go to the YouTube channel. And so this will be released to YouTube probably tomorrow or the day after. And all of the episodes from Monday night are released to YouTube, usually the week after they air here on Facebook. So if you like these Monday night episodes, I would ask you to like the episode. Go ahead and hit that share button at the bottom of the screen and go ahead and share it out in your feed. And that really helps the show grow. If you could do that for me, I would really appreciate it. If you follow the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and share the videos there so that we kind of get credit for the video. If you're on Facebook, hit the follow button or see first. And that way you get notified of all the shows coming up. A little bit of housekeeping before we jump into our topic. And so there's been a lot of people waiting for the webinar that I've been working diligently on, which is Advanced Psychic Protection. And it is coming out the first week of June. So be watching for posts on that. It's not going to be expensive at all because I realize none of us have any money right now. So I'm going to make it extremely affordable for you guys to take because everybody needs this course on advanced psychic protection. Hey to Kyla Bond Montgomery. Awesome to see you here tonight. And so we will get started on this in just a second. I did want to let you guys know that the topics that we go over on Monday night are derived from either situations that my clients have that they come to me with, or things that I get asked about. So if I find that a topic is being asked about pretty frequently, that becomes a subject for Monday Night Live. So if you have something that you are really concerned about or been wondering about, please feel free to message me on Facebook, And I would be glad to dive into that topic for you on a Monday Night Live episode. Hey to Melissa Begley, big kisses to you and your sidekick, Miss Cleo. And so she's saying that the live video was interrupted. Ooh, no wonder. Hey to Dana Likens and Sheila Cohn. Well, I will tell you guys, shout out to J Rabbit over here on Instagram. The electronics have really been off the last 3 days, and I have been negligent in checking to see if we have any geomagnetic activity. I just have not had the time. But if you want to track that kind of thing, there's a YouTube channel called Suspicious Observers. And every morning around 4:30 or 5:30, he does a video, releases it around 7:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And it gives the geomagnetic climate of how the sun's magnetic field is affecting the earth. So we may have something going on right now, and I just haven't checked to see. Shout out to Shannon Pate Miller. So tonight's episode is, what is a hungry ghost? And this just came up, I guess, a couple of weeks ago with a client of mine that actually had a problem with this. Hopefully it is solved. I have to follow up with them and see if the techniques that we employed to deal with this are working, because you can never assume that what you're going to do is going to work. It may have worked in the past, but I'm going to tell you, each situation is so individualized that not every technique is going to work in the same circumstance. Yes. So Shannon has had electromagnetic trouble on her devices really badly today. So there must be some kind of geomagnetic disturbance that's going on. So I'm glad the feed is better, Dana, and I hope it stays that way through the end of the show. Let's do some waves over here on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It makes me really happy to see you guys tuning in on Monday nights, because I want to share this information with you, and I'm really happy to share it, and I'm glad that people are interested in these things as well. So what is a hungry ghost? Does anybody know what a hungry ghost is or have any experience with a hungry ghost? Go ahead and put that in the chat. And as always, if you have any questions at all for me, just put them in the chat. And I promise you, if I don't get to them in the feed during the show, I will get to them afterwards, after the show. So hungry ghosts are people who have passed on that still are existing in our dimension or our realm, and they have severe attachments to either places, things, or people that are very unhealthy, and it causes them to linger in this realm, and they become kind of ravenous. They are only they are consumed. They were all consumed with either places, things, or people. Now, this goes back for centuries and centuries in our history throughout the world. Throughout the world, there's been references to hungry ghosts in just about every major area of the world. Here's one determination on a hungry ghost: is a demon-like creature described in Buddhism, Taoism, Hindu, Sikh, and Jain texts as the remnants of the dead who are afflicted with an insatiable desire, hunger, or thirst as a result of bad deeds or evil intent carried out in their lifetime. Now, I don't necessarily feel like it's related to a bad deed or an evil intent, but I think that people can have such strong attachments to things or places or people that by their consumption of energy, or they're consuming energy of what they're attached to, that pulls their spirit to that place, to that item, or to that person. And in life, they consumed or maybe hoarded. They were not happy for whatever reason and needed to obtain things, like hoard things, to fill that void, to make that emptiness go away. And so just because they lose their body doesn't mean that behavior stops. Okay, they still are in that cycle of consumption. Let me check for questions over here. So Melissa says she heard my voice, but the live video was interrupted. And so her connectivity is down. But don't worry, you guys, if your feed is messed up or whatever, hopefully this is recording okay, and it will go up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I'll make sure that I get some time in the evening to make sure that it goes up on the YouTube channel so that you guys can go back and watch it. Just watch the YouTube channel. So like I was saying, I don't believe that the people are evil, or that they're demonic, or their deeds were evil, but they certainly gravitate to this attachment that they have to things or places or people. And it's an insatiable hunger that cannot be satisfied. So they're constantly wanting more. And most often, the biggest problem I feel like with hungry ghosts is that they consume energy, and they may show up and consume your energy. And that's a huge problem. Hey to Jacqueline Cohen, good to see you tonight. So, hungry ghosts may endlessly seek particular objects, emotions, or people, or those things that they were obsessed with, and they become so attached to those that they cannot leave those behind after they pass. Now, one interesting thing, and I was talking about how a lot of different religions and a lot of different places throughout the world have writings about or references to hungry ghosts. Shout out to Ina and Patricia. Good to see you guys. And so here was something interesting that I found, was that there are hungry ghosts that are referenced to in Christian mythology, and they are called Grigori. And they're mentioned in the book of Enoch, and the Grigori are the offspring created by the union of the Grigori and the humans. And they wander the earth endlessly yearning for food, but they're yearning for food, but they don't have a mouth to eat with. And so that's sort of like a living hell, if you want to think about it. Hey to Christina over here on Instagram. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining me. And let's do a couple of ways here. Honestly, this is great. Thank you guys for joining me this Monday night. Now, this can include the spirits of dead ancestors. And I'm going to give you some of the Chinese mythology and tell you why I don't necessarily agree with placating hungry ghosts. So in China, hungry ghosts include the spirits of dead ancestors who are compelled to return to the earthly realm during the 7th month of the Chinese lunar calendar in August. And these ghosts are existing in our humanly realm. They can't eat human food, so often they will leave out cakes, fruit, rice, and the people will wear, though, an amulet and use incense there is burned to protect from evil intent. Now, here's why I disagree with that, is because if you feed something that's hungry, then it's continually coming back to you instead of moving on to the destiny or the next realm. So if you placate, if you feed, which, they advocate doing that in this Chinese lore, then of course these entities are going to keep returning and may or may not go on to their next destiny. That's just my thought. Tell me how you feel about that. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Shout out over here on Instagram to Amy Lynn and Rita Fox. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining me. And over here on Facebook, shout out to Megan Honeycutt and Mary Bida. Good to see you guys. So the desires of hungry ghosts are never going to be satisfied. And so they're endlessly looking to the living to satisfy their hunger needs. And one of the things that I feel like that they do that is really detrimental is they steal the energy from the living, or they steal the chi, and they deplete the chi or the living energy from the people that they're around. And they also cause a lot of bad luck to happen. So some of the hungry ghosts are driven to possess weak-willed men and women, and to take over their bodies, and so that they may eat or drink or imbibe in whatever they have this addiction to or obsession with. So let's say that this hungry ghost is obsessed with physical relationships, if you know what I mean. Then they would dispossess the soul of the person who they want to take over and use their body to satisfy their obsession. Okay. Now, one clue to somebody who is got an attachment of a hungry ghost is that they're extremely heat or cold sensitive. And so in the summer, their body feels scorchingly hot. And in the winter, their body feels very icy cold all the time. And so they're constantly suffering from excess heat or excess cold. So Mary says, I would think if you feed anything, they will keep coming back. That's kind of what I feel, Mary, is that if you feed a hungry ghost or give it what it needs, then it is going to return over and over and over, or it will try to dispossess the soul that you have and take over the body that you have so that they can fulfill their needs. So now here's the difference between people who go to hell and the hungry ghosts. People who go to hell are damned and confined to the subterranean realm, while hungry ghosts can occupy the world of the living. So that's a big difference there. So in Buddhism, hungry ghosts are often seen as a metaphor for those individuals who are following a path of incorrect desires, and they suffer from spiritual emptiness. They can't see the impossibility of correcting what has already happened, or they form an unnatural attachment to the past. Hungry ghosts are also sometimes used as a metaphor for drug addiction. So if you look up hungry ghosts on the internet, you're going to see a lot of articles come up about drug addiction. And if you have a drug addiction and then you pass, you are at risk of becoming a hungry ghost because you have an extreme attachment for something physical, and that draws you back to the world of the living because you're compelled to follow through with the obsession of whatever that you are attached so heavily to, like, for example, drugs. Aria, thank you. Shout out to Jennifer. Awesome to see you. And Nancy. Awesome to see you guys. Glad you're here. So now, how can you tell if you have a hungry ghost? Well, besides the extreme heat or cold, here are some ways that you might be able to detect that you have a hungry ghost. If somebody in your family has passed, or you know of somebody who's passed, and suddenly you start having very vivid dreams of that person, and the person is wanting things from you. Let's say they're telling you they're hungry, or they're wanting food, or they don't participate, or they don't do this, or they don't do that, and they're causing frustration in the dream, and you wake up exhausted. The key is you're waking up with less energy. And so what's happening in that dreamscape or that visitation is that that entity is taking your energy through that realm or through that mode. So when you wake up exhausted from having to deal with that entity, whatever behavior that they're producing that causes exhaustion, the fact is that they've taken your energy during that visitation. So if you wake up exhausted, that's a problem. Also, if you actually see an apparition in and around your home or anywhere else for that matter, and it appears gaunt and shriveled and beckons to you, that could be very well a hungry ghost. And often they will reach out to you or tell you that they need help. The key there is you're going to be exhausted after an exchange with that entity. And that's a clue that this could be a hungry ghost that's draining you. So let me check for questions over here. So Samantha says, can this cause you to feel completely tired and unable to move in the dream? Absolutely. That's one of the key factors, Samantha. And Rob says, you bring the beat topics and info. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Feel free to chime in, Rob. If you've had an experience with the hungry ghost, let us know in the comments, like what happened to you. And Patricia wants to know, what if just extreme head sweating and heat? I think the key is that the person is temperature sensitive in both seasons, summer and winter. So see if that matches, Patricia, because the references and the things that I've studied on seem to relate to the person being temperature sensitive in whatever season it was. It affected the person adversely. So in summer, they were extremely hot, and in winter, they were extremely cold. Special shout out to AC Ryan over here on Instagram. Good to see you. So be very wary of any type of entity that is definitely beckoning to you, or if you have a dream about somebody that you have in your life that's passed on that tells you that they're hungry, or asks you to feed them, or asks you to get something for them, or that they need. Let's say we have a person who hoarded clothes in life, and they come to you in a dream after they've passed on and ask you to get them clothes, that they have no clothes to wear. That's a hungry ghost, because it's going to be related to whatever they were obsessed with in life. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of info on the Chinese calendar stuff where they present hungry ghosts in the ghost month. So the ghost month, again, is the 7th lunar month in the Chinese calendar, and it is thought to be the first day of the month. The reason being, supposedly, that the gates of hell are open during that day, and the ghosts are allowed to wander the earth and interact with the living. So these spirits spend the whole month visiting their families, feasting, because in Chinese lore, you feed these hungry ghosts. and they are often looking for victims to feed off of. So here are some of the Chinese lore about that particular month and how to deal with it. And I just thought it was interesting. So Patricia, thank God you don't match on that. So Samantha says, when I have dreams like this, there's always danger and I'm so drained of any energy, I can't even move or speak. I wake up exhausted when this happens. Yeah, that's the giveaway, and the key to saying that it could be a hungry ghost, Samantha, is that you wake up exhausted. And before I end, I'm going to give you some things to do. So stay tuned here and just watch to the end. And if the feed is bad, I apologize. I will upload this to YouTube tomorrow. So here's the Chinese lore on what to do with the hungry ghost or what not to do. So the first thing is, don't make huge decisions in the ghost month, because what they're saying is any form of construction or renovation is subject to the bad luck that the hungry ghosts bring with them. So don't postpone any big decisions during the ghost month just because of the bad luck that's associated with the hungry ghosts. Thing number 2 is avoid moving into a new house. A same thing, you're vulnerable at this time. You may be attacked by these spirits and you're prone to bad luck during the move. The third thing is children and elderly people should not go out at night because they're more vulnerable to being drained and being attacked. And so you need to keep the elderly and children in. Number 4 is to stay away from water. And so here's the belief behind that. It's believed that when a person dies, the ghost or wandering spirit wants to be reborn. In order to expedite this process, the ghost may try to drown human beings. Therefore, traveling by sea is avoided as well. So those are just a few of the myths that go along with Chinese lore on the ghost month. There are other things like don't get upset at night, don't whistle or walk around at night, don't hang your damp clothes up at night because it's said that this attracts the ghosts and they try them on and then they remain in the clothes when they dry, and when you put them on, it's easier for that hungry ghost to attach to you. Don't open umbrellas in the house. That comes from Chinese lore. Don't mention the dead at night because it attracts them. Here was an interesting one, is that women should not wear high heels because it's said that having one's feet elevated from the ground leaves them open to being possessed by the spirits through the energy point below the ankles. That was very interesting. Don't take pictures because it's said that the hungry ghost can get trapped in the camera. A dark house or dark office often strengthens the ghost, so everything should be well lit. And so here are some ways that if you suspect that you have a hungry ghost or you have a dream about somebody and it turns out to be suspect for hungry ghosts, here's some things that you can do, okay? The first thing that you want to do is to cover all the mirrors in the home for 1 month, okay? What that does is it removes the portals that they're using to come and go through. Now, if you don't have coverings, you can, like paint the mirror with watercolor or something that just obliterates the reflection. So if you can't get them covered and you don't know how to cover them, what I like to do is just take pieces of either blackout paper and use painter's tape that you put up to do edging. Just use painter's tape and some construction paper or blackout paper. That's better. It's not as heavy as cloth and it won't come down as easily. So you want to leave that up for at least 30 days to remove the portal. if they find the portals are closed in the home, they're much more likely to go off to another area and not bother you. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is to take away their portal access. The second thing you want to do is to put in force psychic protection around your bedroom at night, because that's the easiest way they have to drain your energy, especially around your sleeping area. And so around your sleeping area, you're definitely going to want to use things like selenite or programmed quartz crystal, black tourmaline, black obsidian, hematite, onyx, black onyx. Anything black-wise will definitely create a protective barrier. The selenite, the quartz crystal that's programmed, is going to make a good grid around the area. And you're also going to want to use, you can use apophyllite. Apophyllite's one of the best stones for gridding and protection as well. All of these things are going to come out in the advanced protection webinar that's coming up the first week of June. So if you want to know more about specifically protecting your sleeping area, because that's where you're the most vulnerable, I'm going to be going over all of these things in detail, plus some other things that you had never heard of before. So stay tuned there. Okay, some other things that you can do is to use a crossing ritual. If it's really bad, you can use a crossing ritual, and this involves using a candle and 3 mirrors to help that spirit go on to their next destiny instead of lingering in this realm. Now, this has to be done by experienced practitioners, and so you would need to search out somebody who knows how to do this. And it doesn't have to be done exactly like I say. There have been successful crossing rituals done with much less than the 3 mirrors and 1 candle, but I just feel like this technique works the best. And that just helps them move on to their destiny. Let's see about some questions here. So Ina says, can a hungry ghost cause you to get up on the wrong side of the bed, or is that something else? No, they definitely can influence you to automatically get up in a foul mood. But it has to do with their attachment to your energy. Because you remember, one of the goals for them is to try and take over your body and live their obsession through you. And if they were that foul type of person, because these are not nice people that are hungry ghosts, they're attached to things that are not healthy, and they linger here, and their whole energy is about consuming. So they can affect you very adversely. A special shout out over here to Travel Girl 2198. Awesome to see you guys here. And again, if you got any questions, just let me know. So here you go. Rob says that he knows how to do this crossing ritual. If any of you guys have any problem at all and you need someone to help you do this, and this can be done remotely. It does not, we don't have to be there in the physical to do this, because energy is energy. I had somebody call me on the phone today and ask about finding an object, and they wanted to know if that was a mediumship. And I had to explain to them, no, that's not a mediumship. What that is, what you do with a lost object is it's a type of remote viewing. Okay. And so they were asking me, does it matter that the item was lost a long time ago? Not at all, because time is not linear as we experience it. And this is in one of my older shows if you want to know more about it. Time is actually a location in the space-time continuum. And so it doesn't matter that it was lost a long time ago. It's a location, and the location can be remote viewed. So it doesn't matter about the time. Now, another thing that we can do And like I was saying, this can be done, the crossing ritual can be done remotely. It doesn't have to be done in person because we're kind of restricted on that now. But just so you know, you don't have to do it in person. So Rob could do this remotely if you needed him to. The last thing that I use to rid a hungry ghost is consecrated salt. And the consecrated salt is used as a barrier. So you're going to take away their portals and you're going to use a barrier of consecrated salt to keep them from getting back in. Specifically, that needs to be done in the sleep area. And then we just kind of monitor the client and see what's going on and if everything is okay for them to remove the coverings off of the portals. And so far, I have to say that the times that we've had to do this, that it worked very well. Now, here's the last thing that I'm going to make a reference to, and this is in extreme cases. Good love to you, Rob. And this is a Lei Ting curse charm. And I'm going to spell it for you. Lei, and then the other word is Ting, curse charm. And it's a traditional Chinese talisman coin. And these are used to kind of expel hungry ghosts, evil spirits, malevolent entities. And there's very few places that will sell these, but you can still find them on the internet. And so those are used in extreme cases where there's a big attachment of the hungry ghost to a location. Let's say the person is very attached to a location and they use the location for hoarding. That's a strong imprint in the environment, and we've got to use everything at our disposal to eradicate the presence of that entity from that location. So there you go. That's what a hungry ghost is and some basic ways on how to deal with them. Like I said, if you have any further questions or you want to private message me about your situation, feel free to do that with Messenger on Facebook. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And let's see, here's my ever-loving. What's up, David?
Oh, well, we haven't had a What's for Dinner, David, in a while.
I know.
And so what's for dinner tonight is going to be some lovely, fluffy baked potatoes and some top-loin sirloin steaks. I'm going to throw on the grill right now.
That sounds good.
And I have a sample of tepache. Tepache is a Mexican drink that is made with fermented pineapple and spices. This is the first time I've made it. So I brought her down a little sample. I just now bottled it.
Oh.
So it's still raw, a little on the flavor. It needs a few more days to sit in the bottle. It'll self-carbonate. It'll have lovely little tiny champagne bubbles once it's done. And
shall I taste?
You shall taste.
Okay, so it smells fruity, it smells pineapple-y, but there's an aroma of kind of like cinnamon and licorice, kind of.
You got that?
Oh, that's really refreshing. This is going to be great for this summer.
Very lightly alcoholic. It's like a pineapple beer.
Wow, this is nice. If you get time, since we're not doing anything, we're all locked up, you might get your pineapple on sale and try to make some tepache. So a good recipe is on Bon Appetit.
Yes, Brad Leone.
Brad Leone's. What is the name of that?
Look up Brad Leone, or look up Bon Appetit.
Oh, It's
tepache.
Alive. It's Alive is the series within Bon Appetit where they feature Brad Leone making this tepache.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of fermented stuff.
We are Kentuckians. We do maybe ferment a few things from time to time throughout history. So, good night to all.
Good night, you guys. Kisses from Kentucky. I will see you next Monday. Share, like, subscribe, and follow, and I do appreciate it. See you next time.